Hello and welcome to Algorithm Integrity Matters. Insights for financial services leaders who want to enhance fairness and accuracy in their use of data, algorithms, and AI. I'm your host, Yusuf Mullah. This article was posted in July 2024. It's titled, How Reliable is the Algorithm/Workflow Audit That You Have Commissioned? And the background to this is I've seen a range of audits recently and definitely over the years where there just appears to be undue reliance on the actual work that was performed. So more was taken away from what was done, and really this creates a false sense of security. So I wrote a little article about it, and this is the audio version of that, but spoken by a human who is me. One common issue with audits is undue reliance. Can you rely on the audit report to tell you what you need to know? Could you be relying on it too much? Why is this a problem? Well, there are several reasons. First of those, undue reliance can create a false sense of security. If you think that the report means that everything is okay, when it's not, nothing will change. In this case, you may be better off without the audit. A false sense of security can make us complacent. Not knowing what our blind spots are can make us more vigilant in trying to find them. But if a report gives us a clean bill of health, we are lulled into thinking we don't have to worry. This is dangerous. Second reason is an audit may not identify improvements that we can make. And some of these could be easy fixes. We want to know about these and resolve them straight away. We also want to know the longer term opportunities and how to plan for or build towards them. The third, we may not be meeting our regulatory compliance expectations or obligations, and there's no explanation needed here as to why that's a problem. And the fourth in this list is we're not doing what we can to protect our customers from disadvantage or harm. We think that we are. We smile at our customers, safe in the knowledge that we're looking after them, but inadvertently we're not. And when we find out that this is the case, it will make us really uncomfortable. So how can we prevent this from happening? The order of this list may vary, but it is worth considering each of these. Number 1, in the prevention strategies, make sure the auditor is independent. An independent auditor is essential for an unbiased and objective audit. By ensuring your auditor is independent, you enhance the credibility and reliability of the audit findings. Here's what to look for. You want an external party, so the auditor is typically an external party that's not employed by your organization. This helps ensure objectivity and impartiality. But it doesn't stop there. Revenue sources. The auditor should not derive more revenue from non-audit work than audit work for your organization. They should focus on audit work and prioritize it over consulting or advisory services. If this balance is not maintained, their judgment could be compromised. No prior involvement. The auditor should not have been involved in the design of the subject matter. An auditor marking their own work is a conflict of interest. They need to remain objective. A note on internal audit. An internal audit function can be independent, but not all internal audit teams are independent. It's important to assess the factors that contribute to independence of internal audit, and they include reporting lines, so internal audit reports functionally to an audit committee or board and not to management. Quality assurance, they undergo regular reviews, including adherence to professional standards as part of those reviews, and no prior involvement, so they're not involved in the design of the subject matter. The second part of a solution is about being clear about what is in scope. And the Organization for Humanity refers to this as the target of evaluation. Their definition is quite comprehensive. If you are commissioning an audit under a For Humanity scheme, you'll need to cover all aspects that they outline. But even if you're not commissioning such an audit, you need to include enough to make the scope unambiguous. A good auditor will insist on this. And here's a few considerations. Specify objectives. So state the specific objectives of the audit. What are you aiming to achieve? For example, compliance verification, process improvement, or making sure customers are not harmed or disadvantaged. Define the boundaries. Clearly outline what areas, products, brands, processes, systems, etc. are included in the audit. This helps avoid any confusion about what will be examined. Confirm the deliverables, so what these will be, whether there will be drafts produced, what the deliverables, which are typically reports, will contain, perhaps even what level of detail they'll have. And then document that scope. So keep a written record. This serves as a reference point and is quite valuable. Optionally, you may detail the specific models or types of models that will be included if it is a model-related audit or if there are models in the audit. By being clear about what is in scope, you set the stage for a focused and effective audit, making sure everyone involved knows exactly what to expect. The third part of the solution is about being clear about what is not in scope. So this sounds like it should be included in the previous point about scope, and it should, but we get this wrong so often that it's worth calling out separately. Here's why this matters. Clarity on findings. Knowing what's not in scope helps you interpret the audit findings correctly. You won't mistakenly assume certain areas were reviewed when they weren't. Risk assessment. Understanding exclusions allows you to more easily determine whether any critical areas are being overlooked, and you might want to renegotiate that. Expectation management. It prevents misunderstandings with stakeholders about what the audit will and won't cover. And this is crucial for managing expectations about the audit outcomes. Future planning. Knowing what's not covered can inform your planning for future audits. Understanding what's not in scope is just as important as knowing what is in scope. It provides a more complete picture of the audit's boundaries and limitations. Here's a fourth item. Understand how the audit is being conducted. A good auditor will not mind showing you exactly how they are performing the audit. Be careful with this because you might get very bored. A good auditor could go on for hours about the specific way they selected a sample for testing and how they merged to a dataset and filtered for blah, blah, blah. But most good auditors are also just humans, and you can ask them politely to summarize. Ask about things like these. How they are testing, which in most cases should involve more than just discussions and may need to go beyond controlled testing alone. How they are varying their testing. So for controls testing, this includes different approaches like observing processes, reviewing documentation, reviewing code, or testing entire populations of data. How deep they are going. Are they testing individual models or data fields? Are they checking calculations at a granular level, or are they just skimming the surface? What the bases for expectations are, so what they are testing against. This could be vendor or industry guidance for a specific control, could be a recognized standard, or your internal policy, etc. Whether they are testing design, effectiveness, or both. In testing controls, are they setting a baseline by testing the design and then covering a period by testing effectiveness? Appreciate that an audit may not pick up all issues. So this is the fifth part of the solution. Audits are not designed to find every potential issue. An audit that provides 100% confidence is extremely rare, if not non-existent, and would be prohibitively expensive. However, good audits do two things amongst others. They focus on key improvements, so a good audit will try to identify the most significant opportunities for improvement, and they are well planned. A good audit is thoroughly planned and can get close to finding all the critical matters. Ultimately, the goal for any of these exercises, audits, are doing right by our customers. So ultimately, our aim is to serve our customers well. This means we want to know the truth. We need to be aware when there's a risk that we might not meet our obligations. We want to identify issues so we can fix them. And this all results in the need for robust audits. So this is why we need robust audits that we can largely rely on to point out what's working well and, importantly, highlight what isn't working. While an audit might not catch everything, a well-conducted audit is a valuable tool for better serving our customers. It's about finding a balance between thoroughness and practicality, with the end goal of enhancing our service and keeping our customers safe. That's the end of that article. And in short, what it says is, make sure you understand exactly what the audit is covering and what it isn't covering, and document all of that. Make sure you understand who's conducting the audit and that they actually have the level of independence that they need, ideally. And if you can, understand exactly how the audit is conducted and what that means for the overall result, the overall report, depending on how you're going to be getting that. Thanks for listening.